This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Attack the Baseline, a WNBA podcast where every episode we attack our baseline knowledge of the WNBA. We're your hosts John and Kristen Barber, and today we're finishing out Season 1 of Attack the Baseline with our last defunct series on the Sacramento Monarchs. But before we get into all the juicy details about why Sacramento's no longer in the W, Kristen, how's it going today?
Hello John, it's going well. It has been very rainy and sad here and cold. So today I needed to pick me up. I got coffee out.
You don't typically do that.
For the first time in almost 2 months. I bought a coffee and it made me feel better.
Look at the self-control, folks. Mm-hmm. I don't have that. I bought coffee today too.
From where?
From Wawa. It wasn't very good.
That's about right.
Wouldn't get the same one again, but it happens. You know, sometimes you need a coffee. Rainy days, we need warmer weather, and we need the WNBA back. Most importantly, because that's the real way to pick me up. If you're new here to Attack the Baseline, welcome. This is a show where every week we're talking about women's basketball, either the college game or the WNBA or Unrivaled, and we're trying to continue to learn and attack our baseline knowledge of the sport. If you would like to reach out and let us know how you feel about the show, or if you have any questions or things you want us to talk about, you could do so at our email, attackthebaseline@gmail.com, or you could connect with us on Bluesky and Instagram at ATBPod. So, there's no news today. No, a couple little transfers, nothing really necessary to talk about. So, let's get right into the subject at hand. The Sacramento Monarchs, a team that was from the original 8 WNBA franchises, no longer exists as of 2009. They had the longest run, like the Comets, and they're no longer with us. And they had some success, so we're gonna have a lot to talk about in this one. This is not a quick one. First things first. Obviously, they were the sister team of the Sacramento Kings. You know the Kings. They're fine. What do you think about this logo? Peek around here. I think this is one of the best logos I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's so good.
I mean, it reminds me more of like Maleficent than it does of a butterfly. Is it supposed to be a butterfly?
I didn't think about the butterfly. I saw the queen.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like a monarch butterfly as well.
No, like you say monarch, I think it's a butterfly. Oh, no. But that makes sense too,
monarchy.
A queen.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, king. Oh, that's dumb. Okay, but that's what I thought of, but it's more of a queen situation.
It kind of is giving like she's holding the ball up, but I don't think that's what it's supposed to be. I think the ball's just above the head. And like the points are kind of like a Maleficent situation going on. I think it's so cool looking.
Yeah, it is cool.
So we've had our ups and downs with some of these defunct team logos. This one, banger. 10 out of 10 for me. So, the owners are the Maloofs. George Sr. and George Jr. and Adrian Maloof start operating the team in 98. So they enter the league in 97, obviously with all the other ones. And then the Maloof family officially takes control in 98. And they're the owners the entire time that Sacramento is in the WNBA. During that time, the team goes through 6 coaches and 2 GMs. So I feel like we talked about this with the Charlotte Sting that like they also had 6 coaches in
They had 6 coaches in 10,
10
years.
And this is 6 coaches in 13 years. So still a lot of coaching turnover for this squad. And yeah, right at the top, 1997, they start playing their games at the place they would play the entire time. It was called the Arco Arena, but it was also known as Power Balance Pavilion or Sleep Train Arena.
What?
Sleep Train is the one that it seems to be, like if you're on her hoop stats, it says Sleep Train Arena. I don't know if that's like a nickname but like sometimes it's called Arco, sometimes it's called Sleep Train, sometimes it's called Power Balance. It doesn't exist anymore. It was demolished in 2022. So RIP to Sleep Train. But in that initial player allocation draft, which was when the teams were established, the 2 players that were provided to Sacramento were Alice Ruth, or Ruthie Bolton, and Bridget Gordon. Let's talk about Ruthie Bolton first. She was very good. 8-year WNBA career, all with the Monarchs. She recorded the W's second ever double-double when she went 16 and 11 in her debut. So, pretty cool.
Okay, so
Her first game.
someone else had a double-double, like, who just played their first game before she did?
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's like, oh, well, it's a stat that people get pretty often, but kind of cool that it's like, oh, I can say that I was the second one. She was first team All-W in 97 and played on both the 96 and the 2000 Olympic team. She was inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame in 2011. More on her later. She's got a little bit of a story arc, Ruthie Bolton.
Okay.
Bridget Gordon, not as much of a story arc, but still worth mentioning because she's one of 2 players that are, chosen to start the franchise. 2-year W career. Plays in 97 and 98, but has been coaching since 2004. So she has a coaching career after. So Bridget Gordon won gold with the 88 Olympic team. And this was in between her 2 national championships that she won at Tennessee. So she wins in 87 and she wins in 89. And she wins a gold medal in 88. So pretty decorated career for Miss Gordon. Pretty sweet. And she was elected into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 2007. Again, we're not really going to follow her in the context of the Monarchs because as we get into it, the Monarchs weren't particularly good early on. It wasn't until they got 2 particular draft picks that they started to flourish into not a dynasty, but a very good franchise.
Well, sure. I mean, one of their initial allocated cornerstone players is only there 2 years.
Right.
So.
Right.
Okay.
So in that first year, you've got your Ruthie Bolton and you've got your Bridget Gordon as your allocated players. But then I want to talk about 2 other players in this first starting lineup, Chantel Tremitiere and Pamela McGee. Do you remember Pam McGee?
I do remember Pam McGee. Pam McGee of the USC Trojans.
Correct.
Who played with Cheryl Miller.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. So she was on the first Monarchs team. Doesn't have a particularly long career with the Monarchs, but was here and worth noting because when we talked about the Woman of Troy documentary on Max, she and her twin sister were very interesting characters. But worth noting, because I don't know if we mentioned it back in that podcast about the Woman of Troy, she was also inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame in 2012, mostly probably because of that college career at USC. But she was still, she averaged 10 points, 4 boards. She was a pretty decent player in her 1 year in Sacramento. And now to go back to Chantel, the other player who was one of 2 players this season to start every game, along with Bridget Gordon. She led the team in minutes that year. So she was like the primary point guard, and she played all 28 games. After her W career, Chantel worked with a DJ and producer KLC on the song Hootie Hoo. if you've heard, I played it for you the other night. And it is also, correct me if I'm wrong, where the Lunar Owls got their Hootie Hoo celebration sound from.
Wow.
So when I read, again, this is a player that has very little context in the world of the Sacramento Monarchs, but did one thing that I really appreciated.
Influenced Skylar Diggins-Smith
Correct.
in coming up with Hootie Hoo.
Correct. Mm-hmm. And she also appeared in the DCOM Double Trouble. Double Teamed.
Oh, I was going
in
to say,
2002.
which one is that?
The basketball one. With the twins.
Makes sense.
Not the McGee twins.
So wait, she's not a twin.
No.
Right, Pamela McGee.
Pamela McGee is the twin. But Chantel Tremitiere was in the movie with the twins.
Okay.
The basketball twins movie. Mm-hmm. So.
That's cool.
It's cool. I mean, like, there were some characters in this first team, but they were bad. They went 10-18 in their opening season. They were second worst in the league. Now, this is important. When you are second worst in the league, you get opportunities to draft generational players. And with the second worst record, the Monarchs snagged the second overall pick in the draft, and they select WNBA legend Tisha Penicheiro.
Okay.
Have you heard of her?
I have.
Who, in her rookie season, averaged 7.5 assists and 2.2 steals as a rookie.
Okay.
So Tisha, who we're going to talk about her a lot in this because we'll go through her whole story arc. Her full name was Patricia Penicheiro. She's a Portuguese basketball player who played all 12 of the Monarchs. Once she joined the Monarchs, she played every year until the team disbanded, missing only the inaugural season. She was a very special player, 4-time All-Star, 3-time All-W. She led the league in assists 7 times.
Nice.
And is 3rd all-time in assists behind DT, Diana Taurasi, and Courtney Vandersloot.
Nice.
So she's way up there as an all-time passer in the W. When she was a freshman, she played in the CAA, which was the athletic association that Delaware is currently in, planning to leave soon, but Delaware wasn't in the CAA when she was in college.
Oh, what school did she go to?
Old Dominion.
Oh.
So I was
Which is not there now.
No.
Okay.
I was looking at like the 1997 CAA. None of these schools are in the current CAA. And in her rookie year, she finished 3rd in Rookie of the Year voting. So, pretty solid player. I just want to point out, too, that, like, a very good champion-level player in Euroball. She has a French National League championship, a Russian National League championship, a Latvian National League championship, a Czech National League championship, Turkish Cup winner, EuroLeague champion, Euro Cup winner. She won a lot. Like, I'll get ahead of it. The Monarchs win 1
Okay.
in 2005. But Tisha won a lot of medals
Sure.
during her time, both during her WNBA career and was a player because she's Portuguese. She was probably extra comfortable going back and forth to Europe in the off season and playing in all these extra leagues. But like, just a really, really decorated player.
A worldly player.
Correct. Very worldly player. And guess what? The team is bad again.
Sure.
Even though she's good, they only win 8 games. They go 8-22, and they're second worst again.
They got to be first worst.
Well, they don't have to be first worst, because when you're second worst, you also get another pick at this second best person in the draft, maybe the best. So going into 1999, with the second worst record, the Monarchs snag the second pick in the draft, and they select another WNBA legend that you may have heard of, Yolanda Griffith. Yes. Yolanda Griffith, who enters the W at, I want to say she was 28 I believe.
Oh,
So she's a late bloomer because she was playing in the ABL.
sure. That's when all the ABL people came.
Correct. ABL disbands in 99, or I guess 98, and then all those players are available for the WNBA draft. And in her first year, joining the WNBA, Yolanda Griffith, or Yo-Yo, as I'm going to call her,
Cute.
one of her or Yo-Yo, she goes by both, wins MVP in her first season.
Nice.
So rookie, I was like, oh, dude, she's like Candace Parker. Like, she's a rookie and she's winning MVPs. It's different.
But she's not 21.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like a little, I mean, it's still really impressive because you weren't in the league, but like it's a little different than Candace in this case.
Mm-hmm.
Also important to note that Tisha was very good in 99 too after they draft Yo-Yo. She makes first team All-W, pretty impressive. But let's talk a little bit more about Yolanda Griffith in the context of the league. Not only did she win MVP in her first season, she also won DPOY. So she wins both Defensive Player of the Year and MVP.
Okay.
Same season, in her first season. Like, right out the gate. Incredible. She was the number 1 overall pick a few years ago when the ABL started. So she was 2 in this draft, but she was 1 in that original ABL draft. So she's really like a first overall pick.
Do you know who one was?
Who was 1 in this year?
From the ABL? Were they from the ABL? Maybe not.
Good question. I will double check that.
Because I guess the ABL players just joined the college players.
True, right. So there's a mix of both. Okay, I thought I knew who it was. It was Shamika Holtzclaw.
Okay.
Who is also, one of the handful of WNBA legends. Would have been, I'm sure it was certainly the right pick to go with Shamika. Yolanda was also very good and very influential in her time in the W, even at 28.
Well, that's a stacked draft.
It was a stacked draft, at least at the top. Mm-hmm. It's at the top. And in her first season, she averaged 19 and 11 and was the clear reason that the team was able to turn around. In 99, with Tisha making a jump, with Yo-Yo joining the league, they go 19 and 13, and they make the playoffs for the first time in team history. They lose the playoffs in a single game to the Sparks. Because... One game. They only did 1 game playoffs in 99.
So the first couple rounds were only 1 game? Because the finals...
I think the final was 3.
Yeah.
But the other rounds were 1.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
It's so bad. Mm-hmm. It's so bad. But keep in mind, they lost to the Sparks here. Note that. Put that up here. That they lost to the Sparks.
Okay.
In 99. So we move on to 2000. And they're starting to figure it out. You've got Yolanda Griffith, you got Tisha Penicheiro as your 2 building block starters. And now they actually have a couple other players that they get confident in that are playing every single game, starting every single game. And the one that I want to mention in this year, in 2000, is Tangela Smith.
Oh, she was on one of the teams I looked at.
Oh, really? Do you remember?
Perhaps the Charlotte Sting. Unsure.
You know what? You're right.
Okay.
Correct.
Love
Because
it.
she is later traded to the Charlotte Sting. So Tangela Smith was with the team in 1998, but this is when she blossoms and becomes a starter. She's a 6'3" power forward center, and this season she provided 12 points, 6 boards, 2 blocks, and gave the team a lot of juice at that position because, Yo-Yo's big, Tangela's big, you got 2 bigs, you got Tisha passing around the ball, making it all run. She started every game, this is Tangela Smith, started every game for the team through the 2004 campaign. Mm-hmm. Every single game she started. So from 2000 to 2004, she was a dedicated starter for 5 seasons with the team. And after leaving the Monarchs in 2005, she makes an all-star team in 2006 and then wins 2 championships with the Mercury in 2007 and 2009.
Oh, wow.
So she doesn't get because I think she's traded in the 2004, 2005 offseason.
Oh.
So she's not there for their championship.
Oh, that's a bummer.
But she goes and she wins 2 later on.
Oh, good.
So as a result of Yo-Yo being comfortable, 16 and 10, 2.6 steals, 2 blocks, like dominant player, the team gets even better in 2000. And they go 21 and 11, third best in the conference, but again, they get bounced in the first round, this time by the Comets. So they lose to the Sparks last year in 99, lose to the Comets in 2000.
Well, typical to lose to the Comets.
Correct. Because at this point, the Comets are still...
This is their 4th win.
In 2000? Yeah. Yeah, 97, 98, 99, 2000. Yeah. So, last gasp of the Comets, let's say.
This episode brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can get a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help find you options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Are you someone who tries to drive while distracted by your phone? Someone who props it on the steering wheel, or peeks down at it for a glance, or just scrolls and scrolls? If so, you could be the next person to get into a fender bender, get a ticket, veer off the road, or even cause a crash that kills you or someone else. Enough already. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
But we move into 2001. Same starting 5 players between the 3 of them, Yo-Yo, Tisha, Tangela, and enter Edna Campbell, who's a 5'8" guard who entered the W in 99 after a stint in the ABL. And who'd she play for in the ABL? None other than the Colorado Explosion.
Oh.
And who was on the Colorado Explosion?
Debbie Black.
If you didn't listen to Kristen explaining the Miami Soul and Charlotte Sting in our last Defunct episode, I highly recommend going back to listen to the little bit that she did about Debbie Black, also known as the Pest.
John has not stopped talking about this woman since last week.
She was 5'2", and she won Defensive Player of the Year in the WNBA. Incredible. Like a fiend, the pest.
A pest, some would say.
What I like about Edna Campbell is that she was from Philadelphia. Debbie Black from Philadelphia.
That was just a Philly team.
They both played on the Explosion. They both played on the Monarchs.
Wow, they're best friends. Wait, they played
Oh,
on
sorry.
the
No. This is my head can. I wish Debbie Black played on the Monarchs.
All right.
They both played in the W.
Okay.
So, Edna was traded from the Storm to the Monarchs in 2001. And during her second season with the Monarchs in 2002, this is next year, she's diagnosed with breast cancer. Obviously, goes through a lot, doesn't play a lot of games. But she does come back for the last game of the year, which is between the Storm and the Monarchs, her old team and her new team. And she gets like this huge applause from everybody that's there because it's her old team, it's her new team, it's fans that liked her before, fans that like her now. And she continued to play despite the diagnosis, which is pretty incredible. She's considered they actually did like a vote around this time for the most inspirational player in WNBA history. And I think she was like a top 4 vote getter. So like very important member in the context of the league that she went through all of this and still came out as like a very talented basketball player. And after she retired in 2008, she became a nurse. So I think that's like kind of a cool storyline. She's still doing her thing, just a survivor. And I just wanted to like highlight her, even though like she doesn't have a huge role in this Monarch story. But also back to 2001 arc, a small highlight, Yolanda Griffith this year breaks her own record from 1999 and 2000 for offensive rebounds in a season with 162. And she was the top of that list until this season. Do you know who broke her record for offensive rebounds?
In one season?
In one season.
Angel.
Angel Reese. Set the record with 172.
Wow, 10
So,
more.
so if you look at the offensive rebound in a single season leaders, it's Angel, Yo-Yo, Yo-Yo, Yo-Yo.
Wow.
Offensive board beast, Yolanda Griffith.
Yeah, okay. We'll keep our eyes on that.
The team ends 20-12. They had another good showing, second to the Sparks, and they actually make it all the way to the conference finals this year.
And lose.
To the Sparks.
Bummer.
So the Sparks, kind of their playoff Achilles heel.
See, this is kind of interesting because when I was doing my research, I guess all my teams were like on the East Coast of the country. So I never even like heard about the Sparks when I was like looking at Miami and Charlotte.
Yeah, this is like the Sparks and the Stars, or like the Silver Stars, where I would see a lot of, because Western Conference teams.
All my things were like the Liberty. They lost to the Liberty.
Right.
Or the Comets.
It's funny. It's a different world, Sacramento.
On the West Coast.
So the 2002 arc is a little rougher. The team takes a step back because both Tisha and Yolanda battle injuries. Yo-Yo only plays 17 games. She deals with a neck injury all season. I had to go back and find like some archived article from 2004 that said she battled through a neck injury. And I was like, okay, now I know why she only played 17 games. And Tisha only played 24 games due to a shoulder injury. But Tisha did make the All-Star game. And only thing I want to point out about this season, because they go 14-18 and they miss the playoffs for the first time in 4 years. At the All-Star game, there is I don't know if it's like, if they like brought Tisha into a room or something, but they asked her questions from fans. Like fans submitted questions to Tisha, and she just like did candid responses. And this is a question that was asked at the 2002 All-Star game. Who gives you a run for your money on defense? Tisha Penicheiro replies, I think Debbie Black or Cheryl Swoops. Cheryl Swoops is a great defender at the guard and forward position. Tina Thompson is also a great defender in the post. It's tough to just pick one person, but Debbie Black would be my choice because she hustles so much. She is all over the court for 40 minutes.
Wow.
I did not look at this information. I did not seek this information. I just said, I wonder, I should probably scroll through this archive. Debbie Black. There she is again. The pest.
Wow, she's everywhere.
That's the pest. So 14-18, you miss the playoffs. Enter the 2003 season. Our starting lineup is still Tisha, Yo-Yo, Tangela, Edna, and now there's a new person I want to talk about who is not a starter. In fact, starts 0 games, but plays all 34. Cara Lawson, a point guard.
Not familiar.
I believe you are familiar.
Okay.
I believe you'll recognize it when I explain a little bit about who she is, because I was like, wow. Oh, okay, I get it. Lawson was drafted by the Shock this year in 2003. But how's she on the Monarchs? 5 days after the draft. 5 days. The Detroit Shock trade her to the Monarchs.
Before she ever
Before
plays.
she ever plays, before she ever goes through training, just trade her to the Monarchs. And her WNBA career was mostly as a role player, but she was a pretty damn good one. She's a one-time All-Star in 2007, and she's currently the head coach of Duke women's basketball.
Oh.
I was like, I know this name. And sure enough, there she is. And I recognized her. I saw a picture and I was like, yeah, yep.
I would need to see a picture to jog my memory. But I believe you.
Yes. And she's done most of her damage in her career as a coach. Head coach of Duke now. In 2019, she was an assistant coach with the Celtics before she shifted to Duke. And in 2020, at the Tokyo Olympics, she was the head coach of the 3-on-3 basketball team.
Oh, wow.
Helped them win a gold medal. But yeah, just kind of cool. A young Kara Lawson, I don't know, Kara, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but head coach at Duke, who, you know, we only followed the college season so closely, but we watched a fair bit of Duke games at the end there. And as far as I know, she's still going to be the head coach next year. So program's good. Mm-hmm. All thanks to Kara. And I also want to point out in this 2003 campaign that this year, Tisha Penicheiro sets the record in the WNBA with 10 steals in a game on the 10th of July, which is still the most steals in a game.
Okay, because last week you said, when I told you that Debbie Black had a quadruple double with 10 steals, you said, I bet that's never happened in the W.
And why do you think I wrote it? Because I was like, oh my God, she did the Debbie.
Yeah. Oh
so Tisha is the only player to ever do 10.
Okay.
But Debbie Black, it's just in the back pocket, the quadruple double queen.
From the ABL.
But still worth noting. I just think it's funny that now that's it for Debbie Black.
All right.
But that's the last connection that I think was pretty funny.
I know. How many more Debbie Blacks can we sneak into here?
No more Debbie Blacks.
Okay.
The Monarchs this year go 19-15, third in the Western Conference, and they lose in the conference finals to the Sparks again.
Damn.
Third time losing, second time in a row in the conference finals. So we move to 2004 and enter Rebecca Brunson, a 6'2" forward who was drafted by Sacramento this year. She was a rebounding fiend. She held the league record for rebounds all time, total rebounds in her career. She was at the top of the list until 2020 when she was passed by Sylvia Fowles. Sylvia Fowles, congrats on your Hall of Fame bid last week. She did most of her damage, this is Brunson, did most of her damage with the Lynx from 2010 to 2018. That's where she got a ton of her rebounds because she's a new player. She's a fresh out of college player.
Okay, yeah, because 2018 sounds like so far away for me right now.
I know. But she was the first player, this is Rebecca Brunson, the first player to win 5 championships in the entire WO. She does it in 2017 with the Lynx. She was also a 5-time All-Star. But funny enough, 3 of those years, she was a replacement All-Star in some sense. Because in 2011, she was a replacement in the starting lineup for Candace Parker. So as far as I know, she was already an All-Star, and they moved her into the starting lineup. And then in 2017, she was a replacement All-Star for BG, who was hurt. And then in 2018, she was a replacement All-Star for NECA. So 3 years, it's like, oh, she entered the All-Star as a replacement.
Okay.
But
No shame in that.
no, absolutely not. Especially considering what she's done in the league. All defensive first team in 2011, 6-time all defensive second team. She has her number retired in Minnesota, and she's currently an assistant coach in Minnesota.
Oh.
Has been since 2020. And it says here that she was, as an assistant coach, she was one of the WNBA Commissioner Cup champions. Now listed there because they won that last year, the Lynx. This year in 2004, the Monarchs go 18-16, tied for third in the Western Conference with the Lynx, and they lose in the conference finals to the Storm this time. 3 years, 3 conference finals, no dice. Sparks, Storm. Enter the 2005 season where the Sacramento Monarchs will win their first and only championship. What happens here? New member in the starting lineup, playing all 34 games, Nicole Powell. A 6'2" wing with an 11-year WNBA career. She started her career with the Sting in 2004, and as you mentioned earlier was the person that was traded from the Sting when the Monarchs decided to trade Tangela Smith.
Okay.
There's your swap.
Gotcha.
So Nicole Powell becomes a starter in the Monarchs immediately, and she'll play every single game with the Monarchs from 2005 to 2009, except for one game. She'll start every single game. One-time All-Star in 2009, and she was selected first overall in the dispersal draft once the Monarchs were dispersed. So, pretty good player. Pretty solid player. So not only do they make this trade for Nicole Powell, but the 3 years of losing in the conference finals made them kind of look in the mirror. And Ruthie Bolton, one of the OGs that was given in the initial draft, the initial player allocation, they decide not to re-sign her. They actually offer her. It's funny enough because they give her a training camp contract and they let her try to make the team. And she ultimately doesn't make the team. But then they're like, you can be in the front office. And she takes a front office gig.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
kind of cool.
They liked her, I guess. They wanted her to stick around in some capacity.
Right.
But sorry, you're not helping us win championships.
No, I mean, she's only a starter in the very early iterations of the team. She wasn't like Tisha and Yo-Yo kind of pushed themselves to the top here.
Yeah.
You got to focus on that. The team also signs a bunch of really young free agents. They actually go out and sign, I think, I didn't get their names, but like 2 Chinese basketball players they go and they sign. So they're like looking all places where they can get younger and lock in defensively. So that's like the mindset of the coach. We're like, we're going to win through defense. They make this trade for Nicole Powell with Tangela Smith. And this results in an absolutely dominant team. Their head coach wins Coach of the Year, and Powell is the most improved player.
Nice.
So just to highlight Nicole Powell, she increased her scoring by 6 points. She shot 3 more threes, and she made them at a 42% clip. She added an extra board and a half, an extra assist and a half, an extra steal.
Wow, yeah, that's really good.
She was clearly worthy of most improved. And the Monarchs go 25-9, best in the West, and they win their first championship, beating in the first round, they beat the Sparks in 2, then they beat the Comets in 2, and then they beat the Sun in 4.
Oh,
so
not
they
the
get
Storm.
No, it would have been cool if they got to knock out all those demons, but
Yeah.
at least they got to do the Sparks and the Comets in the first rounds.
That's good.
So congratulations in 2005, the big win. 2006, not much to talk about here. Your starting lineup, Nicole Powell, Yo-Yo, Tisha, and then a bunch of other folks.
Well, what? People left? Why weren't they as good the next year?
Well, I didn't say that they weren't as good. I just said that they tried to change things up. Different players, they were rotating those last 2 starting positions. Like Rebecca Brunson started 14 games this season. A couple new people that... Kara Lawson started 6 games this season. They actually go 21-13 this year.
Okay.
So still very good. Second in the West. And then they lose in the final in 5 to the Detroit Shock.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they could have been 2-time champions.
Yeah.
And I do wonder if they win that second title in a row. It probably doesn't move the needle because, we have the Comets who won 4 in a row and they still got defunct. It probably would have still happened, but maybe things would have been different.
Maybe.
Tough to say. Enter the 2007 season, where Rebecca Brunson is finally becoming like a full-time starter. She starts 29 games this season. She leads the team in rebounds. This is how she starts to build up to that all-time rebound leader because she was still young at this point.
Right. Yolanda was older.
Correct. Yeah, Yolanda still starts 32 games. Tisha still starts 32 games. The team is good, but they're not as good as they were in 05 or 06. They go 19-15, and now they lose in the first round again to the Silver Stars. So it's like now we're starting to see the decline. Some of their best players are getting older, and they just don't have the same oomph that they had in that peak year in 2005. And in 2008, this is the first season where Yolanda Griffith is no longer on the team. In the first season without Yo-Yo, the team goes 18-16, and they lose again in the first round to the Silver Stars.
So they're still like making the playoffs every single year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Tisha's still there. Tisha's still operating your team. Like, you know, a 7-time assist leader in the league is going to be a valuable player, even if you don't have other really dynamic offensive pieces. But most of their scoring is done by Nicole Powell and Carl Lawson, actually, this season. But then we enter the final season of the Sacramento Monarchs. In 2009, the team is unfortunately pretty bad, and they go 12-22, and they miss the playoffs for only the fourth time in their whole career. But that's where it all sort of ends. After the 2009 season, the team dissolves as the Maloof family would no longer operate them. The W attempted for them to move to the Bay Area. They were going to relocate them to Oakland, but it didn't pan out, which led to their dispersal draft. There has been a desire for some time by the Sacramento Kings ownership to potentially bring back a team, but in my opinion, I feel like now that we have Golden State Valkyries team, it's even less likely, and the Valkyries are a purple team. So, like, you're not bringing back the Monarchs, who were a purple team. You'd have to do, like, a whole rebrand.
Well, I mean, the Valkyries are a different color than the Warriors. So they could just... Well, I get what you mean.
You see what I'm saying?
The logos would have to... I mean, who cares? No, they wouldn't. It's fine. But, as I famously think, Sacramento is in the Bay Area, so...
Count it. So we've already got a Bay Area team. But just to put a bow on it, Tisha Penicheiro, last thing I'll say about her, she went on to be recognized in the 15th anniversary team, the 20th anniversary team in 2016, and the 25th anniversary team in 2021. She was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 2019.
Like Naismith or Women's?
Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. Apologies. And she currently serves as an agent for over 30 players, including Kayla McBride and Courtney Vandersloot.
Love. That's cool.
So, yeah, kind of cool. I like Tisha as like a Sloot agent because Sloot is this player that has more assists than Tisha, but is like very much the same archetype as Tisha.
Yeah, that's cool.
So cool to like put a bow on her. Like definitely one of the all-time greatest players in the WNBA. No questions asked. As for Yolanda Griffith, she was a member of the 10th anniversary team, the 15th anniversary team, the 20th anniversary team, and the 25th anniversary team. All of those. She made all of them. She coached as an assistant in Indiana with the Fever for a year. And then she also coached at the college level for Dartmouth, Lafayette, Albany, UMass Amherst.
Okay.
And most recently at Boston College from 2018 to 2021. She was inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame in 2014 and the Naismith Hall of Fame in 2021. Yolanda Griffith, another one of the all-time greats. You could probably say maybe, like, if we're overall ranking, maybe a tick above Tisha in the overall context, but the fact that both of these players got to play together, got to win a championship together, I was very thankful that I got to do this research and find out about them because I was familiar with both, and now I feel like I'm much more familiar with both. So
great.
That's the story of the Sacramento Monarchs.
Okay.
Any questions?
I mean, I just imagine that, the owners said, people aren't coming to games, we're losing money, that's why.
It's been the same reason.
It's the recession. They were they alone in the team in the year that they folded?
Yeah, so Yes, I think they were the last team to fully dissolve of this whole group a year after the Comets. They got one more season in after the Comets dissolved in 2008. They dissolved in 2009. It's funny because in 2008, that was also when you had the last expansion draft.
Right.
When the Dream came in.
That is so weird. The Dream are so weird.
Timing-wise?
Yes.
They got in there right as everything's kind of collapsing.
Right. Why?
Well, not everything. Just like the last gasp of the collapse. Where they kind of got to rally the horses and be like, this is what the league is. Like, we have to work with this. But, yeah. So that's the story of the Monarchs. I think of the defunct teams that we talked about, certainly the lowest possibility to return, in my opinion. But a really quality franchise. Pretty good. Like a different quality level than the Comets. But like, I feel like it's still kind of rare. You got your championship. You had your Hall of Famers.
That's great.
Yeah. They were successful. They sold tickets. They just didn't have enough to stay. And maybe that's that Sacramento market. I don't know. The Bay Area. Some would say. Well, I hope you enjoyed learning about the Monarchs as much as I did. Hope you enjoyed a couple Debbie Black refs. And you, listener, I hope that was me talking to you, Kristen. But listener, if you enjoyed this, please let us know. Send us an email, attackthebaseline@gmail.com, or connect with us on Bluesky or Instagram at ATBPod. This is it. Season 1.
Wow.
Do you have any season 1, our first season of Attack the Baseline.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been a lot.
It's a ton. The amount of things that we have learned this year, the amount of people. I heard a statistic. Where did I hear this? I don't remember. That people are only really capable of fully knowing 150 people.
Yes, I heard this the other day too.
It was on the Eagles podcast with the girl from Normal Gossip. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
So that includes your family, your friends, your colleagues.
Right.
And athletes that you care about.
Right.
I feel like I've crammed 500 new people into my brain this year. And it's incredible, honestly.
I mean, you won't fully know them, but thinking about it, I fully know you. I fully know my dad and my mom and my sister. I know your family. I know Debbie Black. I know Alicia Gray. And I know...
That's it.
I guess that's it.
Okay.
No, I am with you. I'm with you. It was like a shotgun blast of all this information.
Yeah.
That was kind of how we went about this first year. But now it's time to lock in and just almost just let it mellow a little bit.
Yes.
Let it soak in.
Yeah, I want to be a little bit more chill.
Yes.
And just appreciate it. And
Yes.
not just looking so much stuff up and trying to figure out, as much as I possibly can. But we always have more to learn.
Right, we're going to have a new rookie class.
But now that we have this baseline knowledge, much more than we did, I feel good about it. I feel better. I'm looking forward to our second season where we have more of a grasp of the basics.
Yes, and you can hear the start of that second season when we dig in to the April 14th WNBA draft, which is right around the corner. Very excited about it. I don't know what's going to happen. There's so many players that are all over the board, and it's going to be an exciting night. But we're hoping to bring that right to you, the start of our second season. But you said it, Kristen. I don't have anything else to say. I'm ready to put a bow on.
I'm going to
Season
say,
1.
this is crazy to say.
Uh-huh.
We may take it back. Don't hold us to it. We could go live on our TikTok during the draft.
We could.
We could.
We might. We'll
don't
see.
know.
Never done that. But
People just sit on their couches being on live. It's not anything crazy.
let's go live with the gang. Let's call Natasha Cloud. Go live with Natasha Cloud.
Okay.
Get Ryan and Alicia. What are they up to? Watching volleyball games?
Perhaps.
I don't know. K-Mac, are you busy in Turkey? Probably. Anyway, Kristen, I'm staring at the baseline. What are we going to do?
Attack it.
Attack the Baseline. Thank you so much for listening, and we will be back with season 2 of Attack the Baseline. But until then, ta-ta for now.